Hi, everyone. Welcome to our online communities webinar provided by QuestionPro Communities. I'm really excited to have you guys here today, and I really want to thank you all for your presence and for taking the time to join our webinar. So, today we are going to be talking about the crucial role that online communities play on social businesses and why should companies embrace this new technology. With us today, I have Mr. Herman Gear. He is the principal at Enterprise Development Group, and he is an expert in innovation. And we've been doing a lot of collaboration efforts in the past couple of years. And also, I have with you to speak with you guys today, Mr. John Johnson. He is the VP of Customer, and he has many years of experience with customers and customer engagement activities at QuestionPro. And I'm Flavia Lemes. I'm the product marketing manager for our communities platform. And I'm going to be talking to you guys, showing you a little bit of our platform at the end of our presentation. So I hope you guys have fun and I hope you guys enjoy our webinar. And again, thank you so much for your participation.
So one of the things that we thought we would do is to start this conversation by looking at why communities are so fundamentally important today, more important maybe than ever before for the health of an enterprise. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about the very, very big picture of what is driving the necessity for understanding and supporting communities for any business in today's world. The engine that transforms our world every day now, of course, is this little thing called a microprocessor, and it continues to follow Moore's law, meaning that every 18 months this thing gets smaller, in size. It's half as expensive, and it is twice as fast, twice as powerful. And so what that means is that today we live in an exponential time. And exponential means that things are so fundamentally changed every 2 or so years that enterprises that were built for a particular kind of time are at risk of falling behind, not because they're not doing something, good, or not because they're doing, actually even growing, that they're doing something where there's some growth left for them, but because the world is actually moving away from them. There are developments going on around them that are causing these enterprises to fall behind, potentially exponentially. So as Kurt Carlson, my friend, the previous CEO of SRI, says, is that in these exponential times, if you improve your performance only incrementally, you are at risk of falling behind exponentially. What that means is that basically the out of business curve today does not look like it has ever done before. You can do a little better every year, but the world is moving away. And what is fundamental for every enterprise, for any enterprise today, is to understand what those signals are that are signaling to you that here is something that is going to disrupt your business, and how are we going to adjust to those kind of disruptions and make the necessary shifts in terms of the strategy of the company, how you approach your customers, and what kinds of products and services you provide. Think of Nokia, think of a lot of, Kodak, think of a bunch of companies that were doing just fine, even at times where they were starting to be disrupted, but they stayed too long on something that felt perfectly adequate from their own perspective. There was still growth, in the business, but the world was moving away from them. The next big signals that we are now seeing is that we are going beyond the current reality of the internet, the current reality of this digital technology. These two slides are from Cisco, and they do a very good job, I think, to show that we're now moving from a kind of networked economy where we have digitized business processes that we all are familiar with. We have companies like eBay and Amazon and et cetera doing, being very effective, moving into this next phase of the Internet of Things, the Internet of Everything, where immersive experiences are becoming fundamental to how we as customers, as human beings, are being managed by this digital technology. So what's happening is that we have now the connection between people, processes, data, and things that create an environment that is distinctly more immersive, that is distinctly more present in nearly everything that we do. What that means now is that every business is being disrupted, as it has been true for the last time that digitization came into being. Digital technology came into being and disrupted a lot of companies that were existing in kind of the analog sphere. And now we're seeing many companies having to deliver performance in several life cycles at once. That means they still have business in the analog space, in stores, with physical kind of presence, in the digital space, and now in this hyper-digitized space where human beings are not just having digital devices in hand, but they are surrounded by these digital realities. What that means is that so now moving to this idea of why is community so important, is that while we are being driven by these technological developments, the fundamental creature that is being changed by that is, of course, the human being. We are all different from the way we were 5 years ago, 15 years ago, 25 years ago. I still remember those days. Yes. And so the big question is how, in a world where human beings are always on, always connected, and now, on this slide, it shows them on the computer, it shows them on their tablets, it shows them on the phone. But now, there should be actually a fourth line, and that would show things that are not in one's hands, that are not something I look at, that are beyond the screen, right? So what we are now moving into is a time where, think of Nest, for example, where our thermostat is connected to our cars. For example, Mercedes has a deal with Nest, or to our washing machines, or to our fitness equipment, etc. So more and more, this digital world is shifting us humans into spaces where we don't even actively engage with digital technology. It engages with us, right? So how do we manage that? And how do we create value that is relevant to a human being that is always on, always connected? Here's a famous picture that probably all of you have seen before. It's the death of the Pope in 2005. And, these are basically people going to St. Peter's Plaza, experiencing something together in community, in physical community. Now there's one person on the right-hand lower side that is kind of a pioneer into this digital world. And then we've got the picture from 2013 from the Pope election there, and it's a completely different community. This community no longer is just present in St. Peter's Plaza. It is a community that is present around the world. Where do those people exchange this information? Who do they feel closer to? Is it their Facebook friends with whom they're communicating through these devices at that very moment? Is it their Twitter feeds? What is it that connects them to the rest of the world? But it is a different creature with different expectations and experiencing this kind of moment in a very different way. One of the things that we've done to kind of make sense of how we best interact with this digitally enhanced customer, this digitally enhanced human being, is to look at how do humans actually experience life sort of throughout their day. So there are times when I want to be passive and reflective, where I want to read a book, I want to see a show, I want to be served in some form by a business, and it's a perfectly happy, kind of moment for me. And in the analog era, that was really the way that most companies looked at their customers, right? The customer is there, we tell them what they want, they take it from us, and they experience some kind of value from that exchange. So what happens also, of course, is that there are times where I don't want to be passive and reflective. I want to be playful, I want to interact with things, and that's a very different state for me, right? I expect something different in that moment. The next one is that at times I want to be creative and have an impact. I want to be the author of my own content. I want to do something that I think with my creative energies, with my ideas, is going to have a positive impact on the world that I want to impact. And finally, there are times where I want to be connected to people. I want to be in some kind of exchange where we share something in common and have a sort of coherent feeling of community. Why that is important is that while these these dimensions have always been true for human beings, right? We've always done that. When I grew up back in Switzerland, forever ago, when I wanted to go be playful and interactive, I had to get up. I had to go out somewhere. I had to find my friends. We played a game. Or when I wanted to be creative and have an impact on things, I'd go down in the basement and, get into my photo lab and do something there. But now in this digitized world, we are living in these four dimensions all the time. We are, seamlessly moving from one into the next. And we can be, kind of in a passive place for one moment and switch over to another. And why that is important in terms of what we're going to talk about with the QuestionPro platform and platforms like that is that the question for the enterprise, the question for companies is how are we relevant in these different dimensions for our customers? Are we there for them when they want to be more passive? Are we there for them when they want to play with us, when they want to interact with some kind of content in an interesting kind of way? Are we there for them when they want to do something themselves, when they want to have an impact themselves? And are we there for them when they just want to exchange ideas, share stuff with each other, feel like they're part of some kind of a coherent community? So that, I think, is sort of the fundamental proposition here is you as managers, as owners, as creators of enterprise are now facing a distinctly different customer, a customer that is living in distinctly more dynamic dimensions. And for you, it is fundamental, I believe, that you provide that customer with an experience that allows them to seamlessly go from one of these dimensions to the other without having to let go of you, without having to step away from their relationship from you. As a quick example, we worked with the BBC in England, and when they began to see that, they realized that the value proposition of just doing a show, to a passive and reflective customer is not going to be relevant when a customer wants to be playful, when a customer wants to put their own content on a platform, when a customer wants to be a community. And so that the ability for them to actually provide them with a platform that would allow customers to easily live in all those dimensions was fundamental to the success of the BBC going forward. So I leave you with a few quick sort of propositions. One comes, we already went through that in terms of that we now live in these different experiences. And so what I just described is that we have shifted into, having to provide companies with customers with, when they're, I labeled these customers Anna as an analog, Andy as an analog digital, which is that kind of interactive, playful customer. The DJ is the digital Joe or digital Jane, which means they want to be, empowered to do things themselves. And then the Cindy is to be connected. And again, what is required is that we offer these customers platforms that enrich them when they want to be in that Andy mode, that enable them to have cool experiences when they're in this Andy sort of modality, that empower them to do their own thing, to put it up on a platform and engage the world with that, and finally to help people connect with it. And now finally, a few thoughts about what that means is that the reason why that is so important, why it's so important to realize that this digital world is about a changing nature of the customer, is that as Under Parole says, if you find yourself in a market transaction that you are not, don't know for sure whether you're the wolf, then sadly you are the sheep. And what that means is that in terms of having the capacity to be connected to the territories of your customers, to understand where they are seeing value, where they want to be, how they want to interact with you, that's the aspect of sort of the wolf and the wolf pack. It's a territorial creature. Can you define the territory? Can you maintain that? And finally, in terms of going back all the way to this idea that we live in this kind of exponential world, Klaus Schwab, the founder of the World Economic Forum, says that in this world, in this exponential world, it's not about bigness or smallness, right? It's not the big fish that eat the small fish. It's the fast fish which eats the slow fish. And that's what I think we're going to see in this next part of our conversation is how can you speed up the connection with your customers to where you get signals, where you get information from your customers at a speed that allows you to react effectively. All right. So I'm going to hand it over to John to let him tell us a little bit more about how we can maybe accomplish that.
Right. Herman, that was great. I mean, you really gave a lot. You gave me breakfast, lunch, and dinner, so I'm definitely fulfilled right now. That was awesome. Some really good points. There's some key things I want to talk about as regards to communities and just, the members itself. And, let's remember robots are cool, but humans are better, right? There's simply no way to replace how awesome real human interaction feels and how it satisfies people. You can automate everything, but there's just something great about real life human interactions. People love when they know the person on the other end, when they can say, hey, I was interacting with, John Johnson from the QuestionPro community, and, we had a great discussion, a great conversation, or we interacted on a survey, or we interacted on a poll, whatever. They like knowing that. I love going into my, favorite restaurant and then, knowing what I want to order, right? Like those are real human interactions, and there's just something so unique about it that you need to make sure you apply that to the community. And simply, as this slide illustrates, robots are not buyers, right? It's the people who interact with our products. It's the people who interact with our services. It's the people who interact with our brands. It's them. It's the customer at the end of the day. Tech helps us with effectiveness and efficiencies, but human interaction is what cultivates a healthy community. And some of the points with that is just remembering to shift the customers to the center. I strongly believe, we have a multitude of focuses, with our brands or services or our companies. But when we put the customer really, in the center and keep them in the forefront of what we're doing just for ourselves, but also make them feel that way, that helps cultivate a healthy and authentic community. And join the conversation. I mean, the good thing with, really building and creating your community. Let's see here.
What happened?
Try muting and unmuting again.
All right, looks like audio may have cut off there. Just need to get confirmation that the world is hearing me out there. Okay.
Okay.
Good confirmation. Okay, so it looks like the audio is good there. So my point is, we want to join the conversation. There's a lot of noise out there, and there's a lot of different places to go find the conversations. You got Twitter, you got Facebook, you got LinkedIn, you might have your own company website or whatever. And it's good to tap into those conversations, but creating a community and actively getting into the conversation and bringing the conversation really helps you get it into a very direct place that you can access and that you can touch and really get close to it. And monitor the trends that are going on out there in the world as it goes to your customers, your products, etc., but also your community. If you find that your community is really enjoying doing polls or discussions, do more of that. If you find that they like doing shorter surveys, then cater more to that. Really listen to what's going on and pay attention to the customer. And again, when they realize that you're doing that, they feel genuine. They want to be a part of the community. And one of the things is organic engagement is not forced. Okay, people know basically when you're being fake. You want to encourage your customers to be real with you and engage with you, and you want to do the same with them, and it really starts to develop the brand loyalty, right? Gallup defines customer engagement as an emotional connection between your customers and your company. Another good thing from Gallup is consumer electronics shoppers who are fully engaged spend 29% more per shopping trip than an actively disengaged customer. So some things to remember is keep your communities authentic. And that's simply just keep it real. If you're going to create a community, make sure that you have a strategy. You plan to engage with them. You know what your focus is. You know how this community is going to help your product, your company, or your brand. Making an emotional connection. Once you make an emotional connection with a customer, you have a customer for life. and make them proud to be a customer. You know, they're in the community, they're having fun, and there's lots of different ways to make them proud. You can use engagement tools, you can do, badges, you can do rewards, you can, you can have a leaderboard, and that's what you really want to find in a product, and that's what you find in QuestionPro communities. And lift them up, and they'll lift you up as well. And you want to make sure that you're focusing on engagement and not satisfaction. Engagement results in satisfaction at the end of the day. And kind of lastly, the last point I kind of want to touch on is being connected. Okay. The connected customer referred to Generation C is powerful. And if they are connected to you, then you have brand ambassadors that can create a real social sneeze, right? They're going to go out there and they're going to, you may be doing an online live discussion and they've had such a great time. And they're connected in so many things, even while they're talking to you. They're on Facebook, they're on Twitter, they're connected, right? And now they can immediately share that experience in real time with people like, hey, I'm in this community. It's fun. I'm giving feedback. I'm impacting something that I actually enjoy. You should be doing it too. And I love this quote right here from Maya Angelou. People do not remember what you said. They don't remember what you did. They remember how you made them feel. We've been talking a lot about connections and the emotional connection. And I mean, this is just a great statement to really sum that up. They remember how you made them feel. And connect with your customers and, connect with your customers and connect them to each other. And that's what a community does. You're going to do all these things. You're going to, do discussions and send them polls, and you're going to send surveys to them. And, you're going to have all this great, back and forth feedback going on there. But you want to connect them to each other too. And that's what really creates the community. And then they're able to impact and influence others to come into the community as well. And, one of the things to remember is that there's some key points in your community member and customer journey, and you can use them to improve their experience and improve your product and adjust and pivot in real time. And when you're connected to them, and when this happens, they will connect to others in the most positive experiences that they have. When you adjust and pivot during the journey, you're actually making sure that they're having a positive experience all the way through. And this happens at the awareness stage, the consideration, the purchase, the retention, and the advocacy. And so think about it. Once they roll up into this community and they bring new people aboard, you've just gotten a new customer that goes through the whole process but gets there quicker. And lastly, you know what? Connection influences feelings. And like I said, having great feelings, having an emotional connection is going to give you a customer for life. And being able to capture all that noise and all these different things that are going on out there and pull in everyone into this one space is really what you're trying to achieve with a community.
That was great. That was great, Herman and John. Thank you so much. I think you guys gave us a lot of insights on the importance of customer engagement and why you should do it in a meaningful way that is actually going to impact them. And what I want to touch up with you guys is why and how an online community can help you develop those relationships. So an online community platform can actually help you. It creates the perfect environment for you to deeply listen to your customers, listen to what they have to say about their product, about your products, listen to what they have to say about their experience with your products, with your brand, or with the services that you're providing. And it gives you also the right environment to engage in those conversations with them. Do not just listen. So you're engaging with them, you're connecting back with them, you're taking that relationship a little bit further. And then with that, actually, an online community also gives you the right environment to collect their feedback. So when you're engaging and listening and giving back, you're collecting really useful and relevant insights for your business, for your brand, so you can continue developing your business, so you can continue developing your products. And with that, you're going not only to improve their experience, But by enhancing this customer engagement, you're actually going to start building your customer trust. When you build customer trust, then you impact your business. You actually generate brand loyalty and brand advocacy, and you're going to be driving word of mouth and brand awareness that it is going to result in impacting your business and impacting your sales numbers and impacting your brand awareness. And that's what you want to have. So I want to talk to you a little bit about QuestionPro communities and how our platform works. So with our platform, you can actually recruit your customers. We offer many tools for you for recruitment, such as CRM, email. You can actually bring your own database and we can translate it to our system to help you recruit your customers. And then with our platform, you can engage them. You can engage our community members in surveys, discussions, polls, and many other engagement tools that we offer. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in the next slide. Also, in our platform, you are going to be able to collect your customers' insights from the target groups that you need those answers, that you need that feedback. And you don't need to worry, because with our platform, you actually can create more than one community. You can create as many communities as you need that's actually going to be able to segment the groups that you need the answers from. And then it's time for you to reward them. It's time for you to reward your customers for their participation, for them to be engaging with you. And when I talk about rewarding, I don't talk only about financial rewarding. We have many options that we can give you and that we can show you that you can reward them. And reward comes also as a form of engagement. So you can reward them by giving them donations options. You can reward them by giving them store credit options and gamification and badges. So we have a variety of tools that we can actually offer you and that we can show you so you can keep your customers engaged and rewarded. And with that, again, you're going to impact not only your customers' experience with your brand and with your business and with your products and services, but also you're going to impact your business outcomes. So I actually believe that you're all wondering, all right, so what makes your platform different than the others that are out there? There are many great things about our platform that makes us better than the others that are out there, but I wanted to highlight the 5 top reasons that I really think it's useful for you to know. First, we do have a centralized platform. With our built-in community system, you can actually have access to reminders, sampling, engagement tools, the dashboards, and the analytics all in one place. So you have access to all of that just in one place. The other reason I wanted to bring up to you guys is our cross-compatibility. So what do I mean by that? So with our online and mobile enabled platform, you actually can have access to your members' updates, to their responses, to the activities and what they're doing in all mobile and online possibilities. So meaning that you can have access to that on your desktop, on your tablet, or on your phones. You have real-time access to all of that. Another reason for you to actually choose our platform and that our platform is so great is because we have a variety of engagement tools. With our platform, we offer tools that not only you're going to be able to engage with your customers and with your community members, but you're going to be able to enable them to connect between themselves. So we offer topics and discussions boards. We offer live discussions, ideas collaboration, which is a great tool that we are really excited about, where your customers are going to be able to put an idea out there and you can develop that until it becomes an actual product or service. With our platform, also, you have real-time access to surveys and usability tests. And you can actually interact with your members at real time. And also, as engagement tools, we offer badges, gamifications, notifications, so your members, they are aware of what's happening in that community at real time. you're letting them know of the activities that are going on, and you're going to keep them engaged because they do want to keep connected with you. They do want to keep connected with the other community members. Also, I wanted to really bring up to you that we do have experts at your fingerprints. Our team has years of experience in custom branding, in survey programming, in data filtering, and in market research. And they're ready for you. They're ready to help you set up your community. They're help you to assist keep your community alive and engaging. And they're really prepared. And like I said, just waiting for you to help you have a successful and alive and engaging community.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, one of the reasons that I really want you guys to know about why you choose QuestionPro communities is about our higher response rates. With our platform and our built-in feature, we can help you make your community go viral. You can get higher response rates that are actually going to be relevant to your business. And also through our platform, you can actually offer an overall enjoyable, engaging, and fun experience to your customers and to your community members that is actually going to impact their experience, that it's actually going to generate brand loyalty and advocacy, and again, help your business. So I really wanted to wrap this conversation up by bringing up one of my favorite gurus. I think Jeff Bezos from Amazon. I think he is incredible, and he has this insight about the importance of customer experience. And he is constantly talking about how we should put our customers in the center of the companies, of the business, because it's your customers that are actually going to keep your business moving. It's your customers that are going to give you the best insights that is actually going to keep you relevant to the market, that is going to keep you moving with the trend. So again, I just want to wrap up this meeting by letting you guys know that I'm really thankful that you're all here. I hope you guys have enjoyed our talk. As of now, we are going to be starting taking some questions. Please feel free to raise your hand if you have any questions or make any comments. We are going to be taking some questions for the next 20 minutes.
All right. So yeah, those of you who have questions, you can use the go-to webinar control panel and type in your questions. Looks like we have a few here already. And so, we talked about having authentic communities, right, Flavia? And
Yep.
and you hit on some of the notes of how a tool can help you get the engagement. And one of the questions out there is, how do you even start to build a community? How do you get people even to the platform?
Yeah, so with our built-in tool, actually, if you have a database, you can bring that database and you can import that database into the platform, and you can start building your community from there. Also, like I said, we have many recruiting tools such as CRM, such as social media, and email. So you can start recruiting your customers based on those tools and using our tools. And again, our experts will be more than happy to help you set up your community, and they will walk you through the process. They will hold your hand and help you recruit those customers.
One of the things that we've seen with our customers and how they've used QuestionPro is that they look for strategic campaigns. So they've identified through some kind of input from their customers a particularly important topic, an important development that customers care about. Mm-hmm. And so, these customers have used your platform to actually reach out to their customers around very specific topic areas, and they call that a campaign. And it's a proactive way to step into the market and say, we are interested in your thoughts about, issue X topic,
exactly,
stuff like that. So this kind of campaigning is a really nice way to recruit customers into this kind of platform and to build that community.
Exactly. And one of the key points that I really bring up to our clients is that with such platform, you can develop that conversation
Right.
in a deeper, meaningful way.
Yeah.
So what it means is that you're really listening to what they're saying. Your questions go way beyond how is your day or oh I'm sorry, how can I help you?
Mhm.
No, you're really listening to them. As you post a topic on the discussions board,
Right.
you pay attention to what they're saying.
So in that respect, what we've also seen with one client in particular is that they've created like an expert community. There were certain people that keep coming back, coming back, coming back.
Uh-huh.
They show that they're like super users of sorts, and so then they formulated that group. They kind of collected them and said, "You guys are really special to us. Let's engage with you in a sort of
Exactly.
secondary on the side kind of way to build. You're going to help us with the really big questions." And some of them were open to the whole community, and others were focused just on that relatively limited group. But that generates a really sort of thoughtful group of super fans, right?
Exactly.
So they've done that quite a bit.
Good. And a question that came across, out here from the audience is there any advice in keeping the community participants engaged? And, I'll kind of start with that one is that with the platform, there's a lot of different tools to keep them engaged. We talked about surveys, we talked about live discussions and discussions. We talked about, you ask and we react type of things that those are all built in, and also they become engaged when they're rewarded through badges and through points and through rewards. But one thing I always like to remind people who are running a community is that having a strategy for your community, really knowing how often you're going to engage with them, throughout the year. Are you going to be doing, one survey a month or 5 surveys a month? And if you're not going to be doing a lot of surveys, you might want to backfill that with the polls and the discussions on a quarterly basis. It's really just going in, with a plan, with a community plan, and making sure that you have it, and that will really help keep the engagement.
Well, given what I talked about a little bit, I think that I would add to that that it be kind of a multi-dimensional plan, right? So that it speaks to the different dimension. Like a survey is something for what I call the Andy, the kind of person who wants to respond, who wants to be more in a playful kind of mode.
Mm-hmm.
But you want to also offer them, you want to also plan for the people who want to actually present something of their own making. Like what kind of platform, what kind of set of invitations allows somebody who's tried your product and has played with it a bit, changed the recipe, done something, to put that back in, right? So that's a whole different dimension from just answering questions.
Mm-hmm.
Or then the idea of allowing people, you mentioned that, Flavia, to connect with each other, to be in community with it, exchange ideas. And so I think that kind of idea of a multi-dimensional plan that allows you to reach your customers in all those different dimensions, because that creates brand loyalty. That brand is there for me, wherever I am, right?
Exactly.
They are there for me.
Exactly. And with our platform, actually, the members, they not only can connect with each other, but they're able to respond to each other's comments. They're able to like their comments too, and they're able to generate their own ideas.
Right.
So that's what I think is really incredible with our platform. When the members have this ability to give their own ideas, you are telling your own members, you're telling your customers that you're deeply listening to them, that their opinion really matters to you, and it really matters to your company. So again, just to touch on what you just said, Herman, that is what is going to build that customer loyalty. That's what is going to build that brand awareness and advocacy.
Sure.
I think just to touch on some of the questions that have came through, just kind of talking about some of the capabilities of the QuestionPro communities platform, is that it is multilingual. You can host your community in multiple languages at one time, and you can communicate in surveys and etc. with that same information. We didn't dive into this on this webinar, but one of the things to think about is we have there's kind of two ways it works. You have the panel side of it, which is you as the the community admin, where the setup process and getting the members in there and deciding what tools that you want to use. But for your actual community member, your customer, they get to go to an awesome site that's going to be branded for your company, for you. They're going to go in there. It's easy to join. They can put in you put in their username and their password, or they can connect with their Facebook, LinkedIn, or Google credentials. And when they're in there, they get to see what's available to them. They see what surveys are available. They see which rewards they can redeem. They can find out more information. They can join these conversations and these discussions. So it is a real community. It's an online portal that they can engage and interact with, and they can do that on a mobile device, on a tablet, or on a desktop.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. That's very correct. So I'm just looking at some of the questions. We have some questions regarding what is the price, and for us to show examples of the communities. I would strongly advise you to please. We are going to take your emails, and we are going to connect with you directly, so we can give you some demos, and you can have an actual idea of how our communities look and how it's going to look for your members as well as for yourself in the back end. So if you have any questions regarding pricing, please feel free to connect with us. We are more than happy to show you a demo.
Okay. What's some other questions that are out there right now, Flavia, that you want to throw out to us? Let's see. Okay, so Herman, you talked a lot about people just looking at, you showed that awesome chart where you see this growth, right? You're seeing growth happen, and then all of a sudden you're surprised by the decline, right? And one of the questions out there is, how does communities help me get ahead of that? How does it help me shift away from just paying attention to that growth and missing the decline?
Well, I think primarily the point of that is that customers are typically now ahead of us, right? Okay. So, being in touch with what's going on with our customers is a really, really good way to they manifest the shift for us, right? And the biggest, think back to Nokia again, right? Mm-hmm. If they had just really understood that there's something going on with these small screens, there's people interacting with it differently, and there's something coming their way, and look at what people are doing. That story, that picture from the Pope there, right? Yeah. If they had seen that one person that was already there, 2005, with their little funky little camera type thing, and they were taking pictures and they were interacting with that, if they had taken their customers seriously and stepped away from thinking that it's a phone, can you imagine where Nokia would be today, right? But they were stuck in a place where they didn't connect to their customers. They didn't watch their customers or their, other just human beings around them, or maybe even their children themselves, right? And so I think the point that I was trying to make is that the customer is really the carrier of the signal in large parts, okay. And our capacity to be that. And I think that's where your platform is so important, because that's a way to make it's like a lens, it's like a microscope that you give yourself to keep an eye on those customers and say, wait a minute, there's some new conversation going on. There's a shift in their behavior coming along. Something, their concerns that we hadn't heard before. We better start to think about that. And that's the fundamental, sort of reality that business is facing today, is how do we stay in touch with what's coming next? Because what we're doing today isn't going to make us survive in the long run. It just won't. Not in the world of exponential change, right?
Got it.
Yeah. That's very true. So just looking at the questions, I just want to dive a little bit more in some of the questions. So we were asked, what are the community sizes you see with your customers in terms of the typical number of members? So with our platform, that's, again, one of the many reasons why you should choose QuestionPro communities, is that with our platform, your community can have as many members as you would like. We have seen samples that go from 1,000 members to 160,000 members. So again, it's really what what works for you, and from that you can actually build many communities that are targeted to certain questions that you have to them, or to certain requests that you have. So again, the community size and the typical number of members, it really varies depending on your needs and depending on your business needs.
So, I mean, I think in some way you're saying that the size of the community is all the people that are using your product or services, plus those who might want to use it, or all right. So it's basically an alternative, if you think of it in terms of advertising and marketing terms, to a newspaper or to a television advertisement. That this platform is an alternative to be in a meaningful conversation with people that otherwise through newspapers and through television, through radio, you try to kind of do a kind of more into the dark kind of shoot to make people aware of your company. Here you have an actual capability to connect with them in a place where it has meaning for them. Right?
Exactly.
You can interact with them. It's a real conversation. It's a real engagement.
Exactly. And that they can relate too.
Right.
So if you enable them to talk with each other, again, they can relate with each other.
Right.
They can relate with the experience that you're having.
Right.
And by that, again, you're building this community that's this relationship between themselves and with you is actually becoming meaningful, and it's actually going to grow. And with that, they're going to be the ones talking about their positive experience with you.
Sure.
They're going to be the ones that are going to go back to their own network, and it's going to tell them, hey, I'm having a great experience with QuestionPro. I'm having a great experience with Enterprise.
I mean, it reminds me, I bought a stereo not long ago, and of course it had a user manual, right? But it also had access to a community, because stereos are still not that simple to put together, particularly when they have a bunch of speakers and all that kind of stuff. And that was really a relief to me, right? The relief was, okay, yes, I have the user manual, I have access to the company, but hey, they are also inviting me in to have conversations with other users. Exactly. So that takes me back to the idea that basically a company should see every one of their customers as a participant in this kind of a platform.
Yeah, and you have to remember that human beings, as you were saying before, Herman, they do like to help. Right. They do like to be part of this community. People want to feel like they are part of a meaningful community.
And in a way, I trust it more. I trust another person, even though I don't know them.
Right.
They say something to me. I trust that more than if it's some expert or some some company person. Right? It's really interesting in terms of just the psychology.
And I can give you an example of that too. So recently, I actually went on Yelp and I posted a question about where could I find a little cafe close to my home that I could do some work, but that it was a quiet place. And I was surprised because I received more than 100 responses.
There you go.
And I've never connected with any of them before, but all of them, they were so willing to give me their impressions. They were so willing to give me their advices. And that's true. That's why a platform like QuestionPro Communities, that's why you need that, because we can create that perfect environment for you, so you can create that that place where your members are going to feel engaged, where your members are going to feel like sharing their opinions and their experiences, and they're going to be able to go out and talk about that positive experience. They're going to be the ones that are going to tell me, hey, actually, I told them I didn't like that flavor for that particular coffee. And they came back to me and told me that they're developing a new one and we are doing a tasting tomorrow. Yeah. So isn't that like
that's perfect?
Exactly. So with such a platform, you can keep that engagement going.
Right. Well, it's a great example. Right? It shows that kind of Cindy impulse that I would call is that one of those 4 dimensions, right? You wanted a community to give you that information. You got it. It shows that, and the other is it shows that this is real. This need for people to connect is real. And if you as a company, as a brand, can enable people to do that the way that you were around that question around the coffee house, that's gold, right? Because now all of a sudden you have 100 people talking to each other about your thing, your coffee house, whatever it is you do.
Exactly.
Right. And I think there's another question here that was, how did, what are some of the different types of ways that people use community, or that how you guys have cool tools that you can use to do it. And it reminds me of a story that, Flavia was sharing with me about, one of our customers who is a deli shop, right? And they were able to take one of their community members. Actually, I took a group of them first and asked them some pre-questions, right, using a qualifying survey. And then what they did is, for those who qualified, they sent them an email from the system and said, hey, here's a coupon. Come down to the shop, purchase this sandwich at this time, and then come back home and join this online discussion. And then they proceeded to then ask the question, okay, you went and bought your sandwich. How was that? Okay, now is your sandwich in front of you? Yes. Okay. Can you please take a bite? Right. And they had a taste test, right?
A real
live taste test with the community, right? And I'm just like blown away because I remember from my research days how long it took to get people, have them come in. You got to sit them in a room, go through all the rotations, all the overhead, all this stuff. And it's just like, they just did it easily on the fly with the platform. So.
Focus group without a focus group.
That's
right. All the good stuff of a focus group
without all the bad stuff.
All the benefits, right?
All the benefits without the costs.
Exactly. And that's what our platform actually is able to create for our customers, is that environment that they can provide that kind of experience to their own members. Great. Okay, so I'm looking at our questions. It looks like we don't have any more questions. I think we were able to address all the questions.
I mean, there are a few, but what you suggested for some of those are, you're going to be in touch with people about the more sort of specific stuff here. Right?
Yes.
So that would be great.
Yes. Yeah. So I just wanted again to thank you all very much for joining our call. Thank you so much, Herman. I really appreciate your time. Again, another great collaboration opportunity. JJ, John Johnson, aka JJ.
Yes, thank you for having me. It's been awesome.
Yeah, thank you so much, guys. We are going to be posting this webinar soon in our page, and we are going to be sending you the updates. And again, if you have any questions, please feel free to contact us. And if you would like to see our demo, again, our experts are more than happy to show you it around. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a wonderful day.
Bye-bye.
Bye.